A Pineville resident and the Better Business Bureau have a warning about a Missouri medical marijuana card company. Details are coming up.
After searching for nearly 3 decades, a Topeka, Kansas woman learns her sister was the murder victim in a 30-year-old cold case in McDonald County, Missouri.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
A Missouri company that claimed it could help people get their medical marijuana cards has received multiple complaints, and now the Better Business Bureau is involved. This is KOAM News at 10. KOAM's Mike Mahoney spoke with an agency representative and a 4-stater who said her experience with MoGreenCard.com was an absolute nightmare.
A Pineville, Missouri woman is one of many people who reported the Missouri-based MoGreenCard.com to the Better Business Bureau.
Each consumer who filed a complaint with Better Business Bureau told us they paid the company anywhere from $200 to $300 for services, and then consumers said that the services were not rendered. MoGreenCard.com has an F rating, which is the lowest on Better Business Bureau scale.
Julie didn't want to give her last name or appear on camera, but says she used MoGreenCard.com to help her friend with medical issues get a medical marijuana card. She says following a meeting with the doctor where her friend got certified, MoGreenCard.com was then supposed to complete the card application and file it with the state.
We tried many times to follow up with the state to see if the application had been filed, and we just hadn't been notified. Also, we reached out by phone, by email, and then, we gave it a few days to allow them to respond, but after that, we still weren't getting anything. At this point, the certification had expired.
Julie says with the company ignoring her, her options were limited to filing a complaint with the Better Business Bureau and leaving a negative review online, all while her friend suffered without his medicine.
He felt very hopeless. He was trying to do things, correctly, the way the state wants you to do it. And then whenever, money's already tight, you've already paid these people, now they are not responding. It's a very depressing feeling.
Julie says the company eventually made things right, but she won't be doing business again with them in the future. And on their website, MoGreenCard.com simply has a press release stating that they couldn't handle the patient demand and didn't have the technology to support it, which is why they've reached out to another company for assistance. In Pineville, Missouri, Mike Mahoney, KOAM News.
If you'd like to read MoGreenCard.com's full news release concerning how they're trying to make things right for their customers, go to the link in this story on KOAMNewsNow.com. Checking in with Doug Heddy now. A pretty nice way to end the work week, and really we have a nice weekend ahead of us, Doug.
Yeah, we had fantastic temperatures as we went through the daytime hours today. 68 for a high, so quite a bit warmer than what we have seen over the past couple days. Now, we did have a cold start, 37 during the morning hours. A few clouds have been streaming through, at least over the past 2 or 3 hours, and this isn't really a big deal. It's just a weak little wave out through parts of Oklahoma, Texas, stretching back through New Mexico. It's not going to do much for us, but it will give us some clouds as we go through the weekend. All right, temperature is still pretty good. We're sitting into the mid-50s right now. The winds are going to keep our temperatures up a little bit for us tonight. South wind at about 10 to 20. We'll drop back to about 43 later on tonight, but 71 tomorrow. So another fantastic day, even a little bit warmer on Easter. We'll check it all out here in just a bit.
All right, we'll catch you then. Thanks, Doug. In December of 1990, the remains of a woman were found in McDonald County, Missouri. The woman had been sexually assaulted and murdered 2 months before her body was discovered, tied up with 6 kinds of bindings. Authorities called her Grace Doe because they thought that only by the grace of God would they find out who she was. Last year, the McDonald County Sheriff's Office teamed up with a company called Othram to use advanced DNA testing and forensic genealogy in an attempt to identify her. That led them to Topeka, Kansas resident Danielle Pixler, the victim's half-sister, it turns out, and the victim is now identified as Shawnee Garber. Pixler says she'd been searching for Garber for more than 28 years.
I just wanted, closure, knowing that I knew she was okay, or, something had happened, I just needed that. We all needed that.
Investigators are now moving to the next step in the case, trying to find out who killed Garber and how Garber ended up in McDonald County, Missouri. You can learn more about Pixler's search for her sister on our website. That's KOAMNewsNow.com. Shawnee County, Kansas District Attorney has filed charges against 2 people accused of killing a Chanute woman. Topeka police say 39-year-old Christy Rodriguez of Chanute died after she and 2 others were shot in Topeka last week. The 2 other victims are expected to be okay. Authorities announced they've charged Devonta Bernard Miller and Harley Elizabeth Borders in the case. Miller and Borders face numerous charges, including premeditated murder in the first degree and murder in the first degree committed during an inherently dangerous felony. Capitol Hill police officer was killed and another injured after a man rammed into them with his car this afternoon. The officers were stationed at a security checkpoint outside the Capitol, which is a crime scene again less than 3 months after the January 6th insurrection. Skylar Henry has the latest.
Law enforcement sources say the suspect in Friday's deadly attack just outside the Capitol is 25-year-old Noah R. Green. The driver was shot and killed after ramming a blue Nissan into 2 Capitol police officers before hitting a security barricade just 100 yards from the building. He then got out of the car with a knife in hand.
The suspect did start lunging toward U.S. Capitol police officers, at which time U.S. Capitol police officers fired upon the suspect.
Officials say the attacker managed to stab an officer before police shot him.
It is with a very, very heavy heart that I announce one of our officers has succumbed to his injuries.
The fallen officer, William Billy Evans, is an 18-year veteran of the force. A second Capitol police officer was injured and airlifted to a nearby hospital, while police and National Guard troops swarmed the area. The incident comes despite very tight security, nearly 3 months after supporters of then-President Trump stormed the Capitol. Representative Tim Ryan, who chairs the subcommittee that oversees the Capitol Police, is urging lawmakers to unite on bolstering security.
I think it's just a time for us to elevate the conversation, to be adults about how sensitive this is, how important it is to try to get this right. And it can't fall into the other political arguments that we're having.
Authorities still searching for motives say Green was not previously known to police or on any watch lists and appears to be a single actor. While the nation grieves again, President Biden ordered White House flags lowered to half staff. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Washington.
The injured Capitol officer this evening was reported in stable and non-threatening condition. Still ahead, President Biden and health experts asked the country to take precautions this Easter weekend, and some local churches are heeding the call. And a new study looks at the ability of the virus to spread on surfaces. President Biden pleads with Americans to follow public health guidelines and get vaccinated against the coronavirus. The plea comes as the country notches a new record in vaccine administration. 20 million doses were given out in 1 week. And as of today, 100 million people have received at least 1 dose. After a precipitous drop since the beginning of the year, infections have started to rise again in the last week and a half.
Cases are going up again. The virus is spreading more rapidly in many places. Deaths are going up in some states. So I plead with you, don't give back the progress we've all fought so hard to achieve.
With spring already here and optimism rising, the concern is that people are getting complacent with coronavirus precautions. The president encourages Americans to continue taking those precautions, including wearing masks and practicing social distancing. Some local churches are heeding that advice as they prepare to celebrate Easter. Jeff Kingery from Calvary Chapel in Joplin says the church will hold a drive-in style service early Sunday morning. For those who want to attend church in a more traditional setting, well, there'll be a service for them too, but social distancing and masks are still encouraged.
And so that we can all come together and worship as one. You know, we always like to say, whether you want to wear a mask or you don't want to wear a mask, we won't judge you either way, but we will love you either way.
The James River Joplin campus will hold 2 services, both with limited capacity, and masks will be handed out at the door. For a list of other Easter celebrations happening in the 4 states, check out our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Upwards of 2,600 children have been diagnosed with a rare but serious COVID-19 related condition called multisystem inflammatory syndrome. That's according to numbers the CDC has been tracking since May of last year. Among the children diagnosed with MISC, 33 have died. Some of the symptoms are breathing trouble, stomach problems, heart problems, skin problems. Severe illness due to COVID-19 is still very rare among children. MISC is even more rare. It makes up less than 0.08% of the more than 3.4 million kids who've tested positive for COVID-19. Most were between the ages of 1 and 14. By now, you probably know that the coronavirus spreads through aerosols, droplets that go into the air when a person talks, sneezes, coughs, or breathes. But a recent study shows how it may also spread through infected surfaces in places like schools and daycares. Reporter Mandy Gaither has more.
When it comes to coronavirus, knowing how it spreads can help stop the spread. That's why researchers at Emory University teamed up with the CDC to study how the virus may move around places like schools and daycares. They found surfaces are an important source of risk.
Particularly hard, like non-porous objects like countertops or plastic toys, for example.
Ben Loatman is senior author of the study. The professor at Emory's Rollins School of Public Health says frequent cleaning is important.
Where people spend a lot more time, like in a school, like in a daycare or in an office setting, where people, if someone's infectious, they can keep contaminating a surface, more frequent cleaning is required.
But in schools, he says even hourly cleaning may not provide enough protection. He says the best way to reduce risk is to avoid contaminating those surfaces in the first place.
So things like mask wearing is a great way to avoid contamination.
With no vaccine currently authorized for children, Loatman says it's more important than ever to contain the coronavirus's spread in schools and daycares. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The study looked only at surfaces such as desks or toys and did not account for direct transmission through droplet spray, aerosols, or hand-to-hand contact, all of which are likely major contributors to the virus's spread in many settings. Doug Heddy is up next with his complete forecast. And later, Missouri Southern partners with the Joplin Fire Department to train future firefighters.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a great Friday for us today. A lot warmer than what we have seen over the past couple days, and plenty of sunshine across the region. In fact, it still looks good at Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Of course, Indigo is just outside of Seneca, Missouri, and it looks like parking lot filling up for them tonight. Of course, Friday night heading into the weekend. The downfall about today, I guess, would be the allergies, which is typical this time of the year. But they are definitely on the high side at 10 out of 10 today, 10 out of 10 tomorrow. Mainly the tree allergies. And until we get a nice widespread rain to kind of wash out the atmosphere, these are going to stay on the high side over the next few days. But at least our temperatures have been warming up. We went into low to mid 50s yesterday. We had some patchy frost during the morning hours, but then we shot all the way up near 70 degrees during the afternoon. And still, it's not that bad right now. It's 55 in Fort Scott, Pittsburgh, 54 in Oswego, Neodesha is at 55, Neosho is at 56. And then Miami, Grove, much of the same. Everybody pretty much mid 50s, and I think we'll drop off about 10 more degrees as we go through the overnight hours. Southerly winds are actually going to keep our temps up just a little bit as we have the south winds at about 10 to 20. Few little clouds which have been streaming through. There's a weak little wave just to our southwest. You can see some clouds across Oklahoma, parts of Texas, and then some showers out through New Mexico. This isn't really going to do much for us, but what it will do is give us some random clouds as we go into the weekend. But if you look out the western third of the country, there's no big storm systems moving in, meaning our weather is pretty quiet as we go through the next several days. All right, so let's go through time. Few clouds tonight. We'll drop back into lower 40s. Heading into the daytime hours Saturday. Great day to get outside. I need to get outside and mow and do some yard work. I would say the only downfall is the winds. It's going to be a little windy. It's not going to be real windy, but a little windy. South winds 10 to 20, maybe upwards of 25. 65 by noon, high temp is 71, so pretty good day. Tomorrow night, we'll have pretty much clear skies. We'll drop back into the mid-40s once again. Then as we head into Easter Sunday, even a little bit warmer. Partly to mostly sunny skies. I think most of us will go into lower 70s during the afternoon. All right, so let's zoom in. This is going to be for Easter Sunday. If you're getting up early doing like a sunrise service or something, temperatures are going to be into the mid-40s. 67 by noon, so a quick warm-up. 73 during the afternoon. Also a little bit windy, but pretty good weekend. Monday looks pretty good, and then Tuesday we'll start to get rain chances. Scattered showers, maybe even a few thunderstorms. I would say our best shot is on Wednesday. Some of these may be a little bit stronger, so we'll keep our eyes on that. And then we cool down on the backside of this system. We just get kind of clouds and rain as we head into Thursday. But that's our next shot to get a good storm system in here is going to be Wednesday into Thursday. 71 tomorrow, 73 on Easter, 74 on Monday. We hold into the mid-70s, and then we cool down just a bit late next week.
Couldn't ask for better weather for an Easter weekend, really.
No, it really looks pretty good. Temperatures above normal, actually.
Thanks, Doug. Missouri Southern is partnering with the Joplin Fire Department and the city of Joplin to create a new training program for future firefighters. The program is going to kick off this summer. The university will offer fire courses training future firefighters in skills such as exiting a burning building and basic fire characteristics. Class sizes will be kept small for safety's sake, around 15 to 18 students per class. Coming up in sports, Pittsburgh Purple Dragons hit the field aiming for their first win of the year. Plus, Missouri Southern hosts a top 10 matchup against Central Missouri. Danny Terzer has the highlights next.
The Missouri Southern Lions are 18-3 overall this season. Their 12-3 conference record has them sitting behind only Central Missouri in the MIAA standings. Southern has a chance to take over the top spot this weekend with a 3-game series against the Mules beginning today. Both of these teams are ranked in the top 10 in the nation. Central is number 5, Southern is number 10. Things get going quickly, just the second batter of the game. That's a home run for Eric Webb. Mules take the early 1-0 lead. In the bottom, MIAA hitter of the week, Tommy Stevenson, flies out to right. It does the job though. Jordan Fitzpatrick scores here to even up the game. Then Henry Kuziak gets a piece of it. Troy Gagnon from third makes it safe. In the 8th, deadlocked at 2-2, Mules with a guy on third. Zach Parrish with a huge strikeout to keep it tied. UCM scores 3 in the 9th, though, to take the ball game 5-2.
We had bases loaded with 1 out in the first, and didn't get a run after that after scoring 2 runs. And their pitcher's good, and he was giving us a chance to extend our lead a little bit, and we weren't able to do it. And so credit to him for getting out of it, but at the same time we need to try to get another run there.
The Pittsburgh Purple Dragons dropped their season opener in extra innings Tuesday, falling to Chanute 11-8. The Dragons are back at home this afternoon, aiming to rebound against Baxter Springs. Baxter Springs is 2-0 through their first 2 games of this season. Lions get scoring early. Drive to right brings home Pierce Stolt. Bottom of the 4th now. Cale Farrington knocks it far left, driving in a run. Game tied at 2 through 4. This one pops up and drops. Tyler Sutton slides in at home. Then Brett O'Hara with a bomb to left. That's a 3-run home run. Pittsburgh gets their first win and hands Baxter Springs their first loss. Final is 7-2. The Missouri Southern softball team has won 4 in a row, including a doubleheader sweep against Pittsburgh State. The Lions aim to stay hot today with a conference matchup on the road against Nebraska Kearney. In Game 1, Missouri Southern gets by UNK 5-4. Michaela Leinhart is perfect at the plate, going 3 for 3 and driving in 2 runs. Game 2, Lions get the sweep. Bailey Lacey pitches a full game, striking out 8 batters. The Lions are right back on the field tomorrow at Fort Hays State. Speaking of Hayes, the Pittsburgh State Gorillas facing the Tigers today in a doubleheader. Game 1, the Gorillas fall 7-1. Paxton Hayes scores the lone run for PSU off an error. Game 2 goes the same way. This time the final is 5-1. PSU gets 8 hits in the game, but can't make much from it. Pitt State will face UNK on the road tomorrow afternoon. That's a look at sports. We'll be right back with more news.
Take time now to honor a local veteran, Petty Officer First Class Lewis Buckley. Cherokee, Kansas native served in the U.S. Navy, and we are proud to salute Petty Officer First Class Lewis Buckley. He's tonight's four-state hero. Doug Hetty, it has been a beautiful Good Friday, and I guess we can expect more of this nice weather this Easter weekend.
Yeah, actually, it's going to get a little bit warmer as we head into Easter weekend. Temperatures tomorrow are going to be right around 70, 2 or 3 notches warmer than what we saw today, and then lower 70s on Easter Sunday. Now, the only downfall I see is maybe the wind's a little bit on the strong side, but still a great weekend to get outside and enjoy.
Thanks, Doug, and thank you for joining us. Please enjoy your weekend. Let's take care of ourselves and each other.